ceiling is officially under construction for Rutgers men's basketball following a 95-90 loss to number 9 Alabama in an absolute thriller on Thanksgiving Eve, now into Thanksgiving. Coming to you 1 a.m. on Thanksgiving morning. Happy Thanksgiving to all. And this was a statement performance. Obviously, disappointing that Rutgers could not pull this out in the end. I know I already see reactions, harping on the rebounding. This was a game where you saw what Rutgers can ultimately be. And let's not confuse things here. Alabama is a veteran team. They do have some superstar freshmen, but they're a veteran team that went to the Final Four last year and has national championship aspirations. And Rutgers gave them all they could handle in this game. And Rutgers didn't even play its best game. And I think that is the biggest takeaway, is that Rutgers did some good things in this game. But there are a couple blaring areas of deficiency in which they lost that I have hope they can improve on. Overall, it was probably the best, one of the best, top 5 best basketball games in the season so far. And they did it on a national stage. They really showed out in Vegas to do it on no days rest, coming off the overtime win against Notre Dame, which was a mental battle. To come out against Alabama. Now, in fairness, Alabama battled Houston, which was a physical and mental battle the night before. So you caught Alabama at a good time. But I loved Rutgers, their mindset from the get-go, the way they attacked Alabama on the offensive end. They were aggressive. They did not back down. And defensively, I mean, I know they gave up 95 points to Alabama, but they really they're looking like a more complete defensive team that is establishing an identity there. Let's talk. Dylan Harper follows up his 36-6-6 night with 37 points. He was 11-19 from the floor. In the second half, he was 8 of 10. He was 15 of 16 from the foul line. In the second half, he was 9 of 9. Didn't have a ton of other stats. 2 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 steals. Did have 4 turnovers, but he had the ball in his hands so much. The way in which he controlled this game and kept Rutgers in it was phenomenal. Mark Sears is so good for Alabama, and Harper covered him at times. And you see just Alabama's a different team when Sears is clicking. And when he got in foul trouble, that got Rutgers back in the game. But Dylan Harper is able to just dictate pace, the way he's able to draw contact, the way he's able to just create space through angles. It's just, he is one of a kind. And he's looking like the best freshman. I don't know. I haven't watched Duke. I don't care. I mean, Cooper Flagg is certainly arguably better. But in terms of guards, I mean, Mark Sears is just a different type of player too. But Dylan Harper is him. I mean, he is legit. And when you have Jeff Goodman on the court side tweeting how good he is, you know that you're winning over your critics. And Dylan just did so much on the offensive end for this team. And you see, unfortunately, they lost to Kennesaw State. But I think what happened in that game is that the identity shifted. The first half against Kennesaw State, when they fell behind by 18 points, the offense was running through Ace. And this is no disrespect to Ace, but that's not the best approach for this team. And you saw them get burned. And they only scored 26 points in half, and they were on 18 at the half. Second half, offense ran through Dylan. They came all the way back from 22 down, 20 down, and they lost in the last second when the ball was not in Dylan's hands. And now, since they've been in Vegas, the ball has been in Dylan's hands. The keys are in Dylan's hands. The offense runs through Dylan, and this team is much better. And to Ace Bailey's credit, after struggling for 2 games in a row, he was much, much better in this game. He finished with 22 points, 9 of 18 from the floor, 1 of 3 from 3, 3 of 3 from the line, 4 rebounds, a block, 2 steals. He was much better defensively in this game. Really, really was a factor. His length bothered Alabama. He was smart in terms of how he was, he jumped into passing lanes, forcing turnovers. He was a presence as a rim defender at times. He was just in terms of when he would hedge or jump at a ball handler and create confusion and force mistakes. He really showed growth on the defensive end tonight, and I think that was super encouraging. He took some really tough shots again and made them. He had a huge. I loved the set towards the end of the game when it was Harper ISO and Bailey was in the corner and everyone else cleared out, and Dillon got ace that open three and he nailed it. That was really that was great play calling by Peichel and the staff. And the two-man game, it's just going to evolve. I don't even think we've scratched the surface with the two-man game with Harper and Bailey. Obviously, 59 of the 90 points came from those two. And, this team was in danger of falling out of it a couple of times. They were down 9 points with 5 minutes to go, and they crawled back into this game. The way they competed tonight was super encouraging. Again, back-to-back games. But defensively, the way they attacked the rim, they did not back down to one of the best teams in the country. And they gave Bama all they can handle. And it's a tremendous sign moving forward. Obviously, it's a disappointing loss. I know people want to point to the rebounding. Alabama was plus 12, 43-31. Offensive rebounds, though, 16-12. They did have an edge, 18-9 in second chance points. That's the difference in the game. From that end, I really think the biggest difference, more than the rebounding, because Alabama's a good rebounding team. I think the difference was 3-point range. Alabama 10-25, 40%. Rutgers just 2 of 13, plus 24 from the 3-point line for Alabama, and Rutgers loses by 5. That's pretty remarkable that they were able to keep it that close. They did tremendous work from the foul line tonight. 30 of 35 for 85.7. Obviously, Dillon, unbelievable. 15 of 16. Bailey, 3 of 3. Agbole, listen, he struggled at times. I think he got tired down the stretch. But offensively, he did give them something tonight, and he was 5 of 6 in the line when Dillon had to leave the game. When he drew 2 free throws, Oates picked Agbole to shoot the free throws, and he made them both. He was 5 of 6 on the line, 2 of 6 on the floor, 9 points, 8 rebounds. He is not, he's not great. But I think he gave them something tonight that they needed, and his size bothered Alabama a little bit. He had one offensive move in the first half that was high level, and you could tell that he is working. And he's not where he needs to be, where this team needs him to be. But I think it's way too early to give up on him. And I think that you saw forward progress with Agbole tonight. Jeremiah Williams, he was a spark plug at times, but he fouled out, and he fouled out way too early. That hurt them. He fouled out with about 9 minutes to go. He had 10 points, 3 of 4 from the floor, 4 of 4 from the foul line, 3 rebounds. He also had, just in terms of, he had, 1 assist, just 15 minutes for him. So high impact in terms of his offense. I mean, defensively, he was just fouling too much. He's their best perimeter defender. They needed him out there. Him fouling out so early was kind of a needless foul. He was just being over aggressive. That did hurt. But again, he is starting to round into form. He's playing better. I think the shoulder's bothering him less. He's given them good offensive and defensive production the last 2 nights. So a positive there for Rutgers. Durkak, he did a lot of things as always. He did struggle offensively some. Though when he's trying to dunk at the rim, he's just got to let that go and bank it off the glass. And that's 2 points. Stop trying to create some highlight reel. He's such a fundamentally sound player, though, otherwise, and he plays so hard. He had some open threes that he missed, which hurt. He ultimately fouled out. He had 2 assists, a steal, 6 points total. But he certainly
gave this team a competitive spirit in this game. And he was one of the reasons why Rutgers didn't back down in this game. You have also had Tyson Acuff got significant run once again, 23 minutes, 4 points, 1 of 3 from the floor, 1 of 2 from the foul line, 1 of 2 from 3, had 2 rebounds along with a turnover. He was -3 on the night. Wasn't as effective defensively at times. He did have some good ball pressure here and there. And I thought he provides stability for this team. And I think the last 2 nights, that's what has really helped. Is he helps create space offensively. Even though he's not scoring a ton, he helps create space offensively. He knows where the spots to be on the floor. He doesn't create, disruption, or he's not, shooting out of the flow of the offense. And defense, I think he's been solid. So he's brought a lot of value to this team. And I think he's really helped more than what shows up in the box score. So I think he has been really encouraging these last 2 days. Lathan Somerville didn't play much, 15 points, 2 points, both on free throws. He's really been real solid from the line this year. He is shooting from the free throw line 20 of 25 for 80%. I mean, that's phenomenal. J. Mike, listen, 5 minutes, -12. That really hurt them. Martini, 12 minutes, -13. 0 points for either of them. J. Mike 0 of 3 from the floor, really forced the issue unnecessarily. Martini and Hayes, not really impacted all these last 2 days. Hayes just 9 minutes again. Neither of them hit a 3. Martini 0 of 2. Hayes no shots at all. So your 2 best 3-point shooters didn't give him anything in this game 2 nights in a row. And after last night, when you had Acuff, you had Durkak, and Jeremiah Williams step up from 3, that didn't happen tonight. And I think just having no presence on the perimeter, and that's what makes Dylan Harper's game inside, his ability to get to the rim consistently and score when there's no perimeter presence for Rutgers in this game. Against the athleticism of Alabama, it is unbelievable. I think that puts context on the performance. Overall, Rutgers was 13 of 24 at the rim. Not great. Points per possession, 1.139. They took care of the basketball. They valued the basketball. They made free throws. They controlled the game through Dylan Harper. They did a lot of really good things. They didn't rebound great. They took advantage of turnovers, scoring there. Points in the paint, 40-38, Alabama. Bench points, Alabama got 38 over 6 to Rutgers. That was a huge difference in the game. But overall, the fact that Alabama 20 turnovers, Rutgers, being able to have 8 steals in this game was huge. So they were able to do some things against Alabama that created an advantage. And whenever you could do that against a really good team, it's a really good sign for your progress as a team. And there was real progress tonight. And I know people want to say there's not moral victories and all that, but in college basketball, it's a long season. It's a marathon. And this loss is not going to hurt analytically at all. They actually moved up 6 spots in KenPom already from this loss. KenPom doesn't weigh winner losses. With the net rankings coming out next week, to have such a close neutral court loss against a high Q1, it's actually, going to help in terms of margin of defeat. Alabama, recently played. They just beat Houston by 5. They beat Illinois by 13. They did lose to Purdue on the road. But this Alabama team's for real. And Rutgers really gave them all they could handle. The ceiling is under construction. They're not where they need to be, but tonight was the best they played by far this season against by far the best team they've played. Now that raises the point, playing up to your competition, they have to be able to take care of business against lesser teams. And I think what you're seeing is a kind of recirculation of roles here, and Peichel tinkering with the rotation or tightening up the rotation, so to speak. I think the emergence of J. Will and Acuff has been huge for this team. You see the offense officially running through Dylan Harper.
Ace Bailey, much better tonight in terms of creating offense for himself within the flow of the offense and defensively as well. He's a work in progress, but boy, does he have such talent for this team. And I think, in terms of identity, Durkak is certainly an identity piece for this team. While he's limited offensively at times in certain areas, this team is tough. Rutgers showed its potential tonight, and it was really exciting to see them play so well against such a good team, a proven top team that a lot of people think could win it all. And Rutgers went toe-to-toe with them. This game was invaluable for them. I think we're going to look back on this whole, 3 games in 4 days. They lay an egg at Kennesaw. They have a nail-biter at Notre Dame. And they come out against the best team they played by far, and they were the aggressor. They had a winning mindset, and they did some really good things effectively that created a disadvantage to Alabama and kept them in this game. And whenever it looked like Alabama was about to pull away, Rutgers pulled it back in. And that was what was so encouraging as well. The fight of this team, the competitiveness of this team, something that I believed in before the year that was there, and you're seeing it come out now. And I really think they're just scratching the surface here. And I know everybody lives and dies with every win and loss, like it's football, but this is college basketball. Good teams lose 9, 10, 11 times in a regular season. And Rutgers is starting to figure things out. Now, they're most likely going to play in the 5th place game on Saturday due to margin of scoring margin. Houston now playing Notre Dame. They should beat them by more than 1. Both teams lost to Alabama the same margin. So you have to expect Houston will get in the 3rd place game, and Rutgers will be in the 5th place game, which will be against Texas A&M. Texas A&M is ranked nationally, and they just lost to, they just beat Creighton to get into that game after losing to Oregon, who's now in the championship game. But the Aggies, they're number 28 in KenPom. They're a tremendous offensive team. They're number 2 nationally in offensive rebounding rate. So that's certainly a concern. They're not a great shooting team, though. And defensively, they're pretty good, but they do foul a lot. So that would be an intriguing matchup for Rutgers. They beat Ohio State by 14. They lost to UCF. They lost to Oregon. They beat Creighton. So 2 good wins, 2 losses to top 100 teams. Buzz Williams is a good coach. That would be a heck of a matchup on Saturday. They have a senior-laden team, all seniors and juniors on this team. And it would be another big test for Rutgers. But again, everything changed with that win over Notre Dame. You got off the schneid from the Kennesaw State loss, and you did what you had to do. And then they went out and they played loose tonight. They played together. They shared the game, in terms of, everyone deferred to Dylan as they should. But, a lot of guys had opportunities in this game. Durkak had opportunities and unfortunately missed a few on the offensive end. Agbole had opportunities. J-Will was involved. This team is still cycling through what they're going to be, the cohesiveness of what that they can be together on the floor. But Dylan Harper is a generational talent that Rutgers has. And when he is in control, the way he was the last 2 days, Rutgers can go up against anyone. And then you have Ace, who's still evolving. And I think, of any player, Dylan's going to be who Dylan is more or less in March. What Ace is now to what he can be in March is super exciting. And what they can be together versus what they are now, that's where the ceiling rises. And in terms of Acuff and J-Well, I think the key is, can they get what they're getting out of Acuff and J-Well while also finding ways to get threes out of Martini and Hayes? I think defensively, athleticism-wise, who they were playing really hurt Hayes and Martini's time the last 2 days. So there's some question marks there once you get into Big Ten play.
But I think Steve Peichel, I think this week he's done a heck of a coaching job because he's made a lot of adjustments. The way they were switching off screens, in that game against Notre Dame, the way they came to play, preparing this team on no rest to go up head to head with Alabama, the way in which they played, the way in which he, subbed out certain guys in this game, and the way that they are evolving identity-wise with Dylan now just taking over. I think it's been a good week for Coach Peichel, and I think this team's ceiling, it's under construction, but boy, does it have a ways to go. And if they can get close to where I think they can get it, it's going to be a heck of a season. And it's a roller coaster ride. It's a marathon. 7 games in now. They're 5-2. I personally, I don't think you'd be disappointed with this loss. I think this is a high end. It was a high level basketball game, and this showed Rutgers can belong. That's what this game showed. Is that they were not run off the court against one of the best teams in the country. They looked like they belonged. They hung in every facet. They gave them everything they could handle. And this team should get even more confidence from that. My eyes are losing again. We're after 1 here. I think I've said my piece, but there is no reason to be negative after this game. Yes, they're not the best rebounding team. Guess what? Rutgers is not going to be great in every category. Made major strides on the defensive end the last 2 nights, identity-wise on offense as well. And this is an exciting team. My eyes are shot. I'm going to bed. Thanks so much for listening and watching once again here at the Scarlet Faithful podcast.